Hi, welcome to today's class, and this lesson is going to be a continuation of what we've been doing. We're going to be doing more improvising and some composing using our notes matrix in the right hand, with some chord triads in the left hand, single chord root notes in the left hand, spreading the chords into the right hand, and generally just feeling our way around the piece and investigating new ideas. So we haven't done a classical piece yet, and I'm going to just play a little bit of Pachelbel's Canon for you here. It's a very well known piece, and it goes like this. So it's very simple. It starts with a descending scale, and we're just going to go through our notes matrices and note names for a bit of revision here, and then go on and do some Pachelbel's Canon. It's originally written in the key of D, but we're going to bring it into the key of C major, just so that you're going to be off black notes today. I want you to stay on the white keys for this. So it'll sound lower than what it was on the recording, but it's going to be recognizable, so don't worry about that. So our note matrix is going to be here: C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, and up to the high C, as is on the keyboard. As I'll demonstrate, it's just the blue notes that we've been using in the right hand. Revision time: notes on the lines. Every good boy deserves fruit. That's E, G, B, D, and F. And then notes on the spaces. We have F, A, C, and E. And finally then we have the notes that are neither on the lines or spaces. You're going middle C, D, and then you're jumping up to high G, high A, high B, high C. And that's what they look like. You mightn't even be using some of those notes, but we need to see them anyway. So the piece itself, I've included the simple melody here, and we're just going to play a little bit of it now, so you can see what's going on and hear what's going on. We'll do it this way. So Pachelbel's Canon, the melody: C, D. Sorry, we'll start that again. Pachelbel's Canon: E, D, C, B, A, G, A, B. I've written the chords here above the notes in the left hand. We'll deal with them in a little while. So I'm just going to start here on E. E, D, C, B, A, G, A, B. Notes in the left hand simultaneously. Root chord: C, G, A, Now there's a way of remembering the notes in the left hand on the lines and the spaces. We're going to discuss that at the end of the class. But if you just assume that these are the notes that are going to repeat over and over in the left hand, that will be sufficient for you. You should get by with that knowledge without needing the lines and the spaces for now. So if we go down to the chord graph, the triads here that we've built on those roots, basically we're talking about the root and the fifth, root, the third and the fifth in the left hand. So there's our C, and we're doing 1, 3 and 5. Oops. So we're doing C here, it's C, E and G, which sounds like this. And then G, same shape. You're getting the 1, 3 and 5, and you're just moving the whole unit of 1, 3 and 5 down to your new root, which is G here. You're moving up to A, which is 1 up, 1, 3 and 5, A minor. Now you're moving up to E here, and then you're adding the 3 and 5. F in the left again, you're jumping back down here. 1, 3 and 5, up to C, there's your root. 1, 3 and 5, back to C, or back to F, up to G. So it sounds like this. You're just keeping that shape in the left hand. Not changing, that shape is not changing in the left hand, you're just moving the root note around. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And remember, we're counting, in this piece we're counting 4 beats in every bar. These are minims, which are 2 beats. That's 2. 2 and 2 is 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. You change the root, you change your root, you change your harmony every 2 beats. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So there's no mystery yet. Now let's see, if we're going to do some improvising, we're going to use rhythms, and I know I've written them on the note B. I don't want you to use the note B specifically, I want you to use any notes at all. So for this number 1 cell of notes, I just have 2 minims, which is exactly what we've been playing here. So it's it's 1, 2, 3, 4. So it could be this, or it could be this, or it could be this. Now, the challenge is going to be when you change your harmony in the left hand, there are going to be certain notes that don't sound well with your harmony notes. So there's going to be a little bit of exploring around what works and what doesn't work. For instance, if you start with F, 2, 3, 4, it's really bad. Or if you start with B, 2, 3, 4, it works on the second chord, it works on G, but it doesn't work on C. So you're going to have to explore. A could be used maybe. 1, 2, 3, 4. But you'd have to resolve it some way. If you went A and didn't change, that's what it would sound like. So this is going to be your way of feeling around it now. You're going to have to use your ears, correct yourself, you're going to make plenty of mistakes, but have a pen and paper ready, or just remember what notes in certain sequences work and what don't work. I'll just play again here. We'll go on to the second group of notes, which is 4 crotchets. You're doing 1, 2, 3, 4, which is right here. 4 crotchets. There could be any notes. So we could do 1, 2, 3, 4. Or it could be 1, 2, 3, 4. Or it could be 1, 2, 3, 4. If you're struggling to find notes that you're comfortable with, you can always use the same notes that are included in your chord hand in your left hand, which, if you're playing C, for instance, you could be going 1, 2, 3, 4. So that note G, it's in the chord group C, E, G in the left hand, so it's not clashing. Same with the second chord G. There it is. It's the root. So there are notes that are in common that won't clash. The only thing is that it won't sound very interesting after a while. There's no exploring going on. You're not taking chances. It just sounds very static, and you're not really going to sustain your own interest or anyone else's interest if you're too conservative and too safe with what notes you use. The next group of notes in cell 3 is quavers, which go 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So you're talking about, again, it could be any notes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. The thing about using quavers as well is because they move so much, you're not going to have that clash if you, for instance, played a B on the first note as opposed to, because you're moving, the note can resolve itself and sound more interesting within the context of a new group of notes. So that's the first bar, C and G. We could repeat notes. The next bar we could just do the same thing. It's really up to you. The whole challenge is to make it interesting without sounding too predictable, without sounding too, dissonant or out of tune. So the matrix number 4 is a new note that you haven't come across, or the cell number 4 is is a series of 4 notes called semiquavers, which are faster notes than quavers. They're double the speed. I'm just going to demonstrate what they sound like in Pachelbel's canon here. Faster claps are semiquavers. So basically, they really make this piece move. They make it. You'll hear semiquavers later in a piece of music as opposed to earlier in a piece of music, because you can really explore and develop original ideas using them. If you started with them, it would be too confusing maybe for a listener. So you're better off saving it for later on in the piece. Well, this piece anyway is like that. So we're just going to go back to here it is. Okay, we're just going to go back to our semiquavers here. This is, I'm going to demonstrate how to play them. So it's 1 and 2 and 2. 1 there, that's a group of them there. Then you've got a full beat. There's another group, full beat. That's what it sounds like. These are going to have to be included in your compositions and improvisations. So, you could do that. You could do this. There's different ways you can employ it. What I did there was I stuck to the notes of the chord, but there's nothing wrong with using notes of the scale either. Notes of the chord again, repeating each one. There's loads of things you can do. It's up to you to be inventive here. Number 5, we're going to combine the quavers and the semiquavers. So you had 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and for the quavers, and you had 1 and 2 and 2 and 2 and 3 and 4 for the semiquavers. So how are you going to combine them? You're going to do this. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's what you're going to do. This is what it'll sound like. That's an idea for you there. So let's hear how it sounds with the chords. Okay, so we have 5 matrices of notes, and they can be included in your compositions. And this is what we're going to do. So for the first bar, you're going to play the notes as they're written. The second bar, you're going to use one of the 5 matrices, and I'm going to demonstrate what I'm going to do. I'm going to play the first bar, and I'm going to put the 3 in here, which is 1, 2, 3. It's 8 quavers in a row, so it's 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and then I'm going to go number 2, and then I'm going to do that first. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's the original piece. Now let's exclude the second and fourth bars. 1, 2, 3, 4. Matrix 3. 1, 2, and then we're going to go to 2. Back to C, back to the beginning. 2, 3, 4. Another matrix 3 coming up. 1, 3, 4. So there's loads of little things you can do there in those gaps. If you include matrix 3, you'll be using the quavers. Matrix 2, the quavers. So it's up to you now. I'm going to play a few chords in the left hand, and you're going to use matrix 3. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4, 1. We could do it, we could switch the order around. You could start with matrix 3 on this bar and go here. Okay, I'm not sticking to the exact matrix there. Let's do it again. So, second bar as written, third bar quavers, fourth bar as is. So that's the idea of the exercise. You're going to have to include your improvisations every other bar, and then eventually maybe lengthen them without looking at the score once you've the chords memorized. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Do you see how when you're using the two minims, the two full 2 beats, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and combining them with the semi-quavers, or the quavers, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and it makes a nice bit of interest for the piece of music, and it just allows it to breathe a little bit better. So let's slow it down a little bit and include our semi-quavers as the very last exercise. It's a little bit tricky, but we can do it. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's another idea. We were using matrix 5 there, of course. Quavers, semi-quavers. Okay, I'm going to leave you with a recording. I'm going to play and you're going to improvise using those ideas. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So there's one thing we were going to discuss at the end of this video, and we're going to do it now, which is reminders and systems of remembering the notes on the lines in the bass clef, which is your left hand basically, and well, it could be your right hand, but it's normally your left. So we have a low G here, which is down here. We have, there's your middle C, of course. There's your low G, there's your B, there's your D, there's your F, and there's your A. They're going up on the page gradually. You can see the slant. They're going left to right on the keyboard because the pitch is rising. So you're skipping A, obviously. You're going G to B. There's A skipped. B to D. There's C skipped. D to F, you skip E, and then F up to A, and you skip G. And it's all the same on the sheet. You don't have those letters in between the note names. So obviously, as it's written, first letter of each note on the line: good, boys, B, don't, D, frighten, F, animals, A. Here we have another system: A, C, E, G. And how we can remember those four notes on the spaces, after changing them there, how we remember those four notes on the spaces: all cows eat grass. So there you have A, C, E and G, which on the keyboard is A, C, E and G, and it's all cows eat grass. Remaining notes, E and F, these are off the grid. They're not on the lines, they're not on the spaces. Check out the very end of the video where there's going to be an extended version of this that you can play over and write down your melodies. So the very best luck with this project, and see you in the next video. Here, that's just below our middle C. Here's B, and then we move on to C, which is middle C here. And that's how you're going to have to remember the notes. You're going to have to see them on scores and recognize them. But this is a chart that will come in useful. Hanon exercise number 6, similar to number 5. Sequences as follows. New sequence going, descending sequence was different. Sorry, I'll do that again. just going to add the left hand to this. Now, the new sequence. Repeat it. Repeat it. That was my mistake. It does happen, even teachers. Finish on C. So that's a useful exercise and very, very well worth learning properly. Take your time with it and go over it in your own time. Pause the video, figure it out. Do your right hand, do your left hand separately. Slowly put them together. Not a race. Time out, practice, practice. And these will pay off.